Hello, beach friends. The shelling down here in southwest Florida has been a little slow, so I decided to go on a road trip all the way across the state to John D. MacArthur Beach State Park in Palm Beach, Florida. I was not messing around. It was going to take me 3 hours to get there, and I was there before the park opened. So I was the first one on the beach. I had the place almost completely to myself and found a whole bunch of stuff that I have no idea what it is. So, guys, if you know your shells, hang with me because I might need some of your help. Let's go. I have yet to meet a Florida State Park that I didn't like, and John D. MacArthur State Park is also wonderful. It's beautiful. The scenery there is gorgeous. It has some nice offerings with a gift shop, a nature center, some kayak rentals, and then it has this boardwalk that you're going to need to use to get over to the beach. So there's a spot where you'd rent your kayaks and paddle around. And then that's the area to the left and the right where you would actually be kayaking. Now, there is a tram that does run, but it's not currently running. So right now I have to hoof it. Here's where the tram would drop you off. So if you're looking to visit here anytime in the near future, maybe check the website. I did know that the tram wasn't running, so I was going to have to walk the entire boardwalk and then up these stairs, but then we'll get to the top and then we'll have the reveal of the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. Haven't seen this in quite a while. It's the ocean that I grew up with up in New Jersey. And there it is. And I'm all excited, although I see that there's a little bit of a dip. I was kind of hoping it'd be a little flatter and I'd just see piles of shells, but let's head down there and see what we find. Okay, there's what I'm talking about. It's a little bit of a dip. All right. Definitely have some shells, the bittersweets. I knew that they were going to be here, and I tried to control myself, not just picking up every single one I saw. Here we go. There's a shark eye. Now that's something we definitely get over here as well, complete with a little drill hole. A shark eye moon snail. Oh, look. I just got on the beach and I find one of my bucket list shells, a Scotch bonnet. Not great color, but it's not broken. It is intact, and it's just beautiful. I was psyched. I just got there and found that, and I am so, so happy. And another one, yes, it has a hole in it, but it's got pretty nice color, and I guess you could always use it for something if you kind of use it. You glue it on something and you kind of reveal the aperture, the opening part of it. So I'm going to keep that as well. I don't find Scotch bonnets. Those are actually, that first one was the first intact one I've ever found. It's a big old bittersweet clam. And again, I really like them. I'm going to try to control myself. And here we have, I was hoping maybe, I know it's broken, maybe a sunrise talon. I can't tell. Again, it's broken. I washed it off. It has a little bit of that pattern on top, but since it's something that I was really kind of hoping to find one day, I'm going to hold on to that anyway. And then this guy, I don't quite know. Maybe a quahog. I looked it up. Maybe a lightning Venus clam. Not really sure, but I found it interesting, so I wanted to hold on to that. And this is just great for me because I'm seeing all things or a bunch of different things that I don't find on the southwest coast of Florida, like this other Scotch bonnet. Number 3, I was beyond tickled. I was so happy because that's one of my bucket list shells. And I finally, at this point now, have 2 completely intact ones. And I'm really happy. Woohoo! Okay, now here's another new to me shell, which I think is an incongruous arc. That is not something I find over here in Southwest Florida. I thought that was pretty interesting. And another, maybe a corrugated jewel box, maybe a beat up leafy jewel box. I can't tell. So, all right, shell people, let me know what you think. And there's quite a few, so hold your comments because I'm going to have a couple that I'm questioning what they are. Now this one, again, leafy. I don't know. Oh, but here we have an Atlantic thorny oyster. Very cool. Those are typically either orange or brick red in color. Isn't that pretty? So that's the first one I found. So I was really kind of enjoying seeing something different and something I don't normally find. Guys, it's just a piece, but still for me pretty exciting. That's a piece of a queen helmet. Never found anything like that before. I know it's just a piece. I'm not going to keep that one. Fingers crossed, maybe I'll find one. We'll see. So I want to pan real quick. Totally different than down here in Southwest Florida. Lots of the bittersweets, lots of the clams, much more hardy shells because the pounding surf, I guess, over here really kind of trains the critters to thicken up their shells. And there's another one. Let's see if I can figure out what that is. Corrugated jewel box? Maybe? If I had found them more, I'd be better at it, but some of these I'm still having a problem with, but not that one. That is a giant bittersweet clam. Isn't that pretty? Right, those I do not find in Southwest Florida, so I'm super happy, well, to be finding shells and to be finding something different. There's another one of those thorny oysters. Oh, the colors are so pretty on those. Really happy. Nice condition, beautiful size. Yay! Now, this one is definitely a leafy jewel box. Isn't that beautiful with all those delicate little layers? Oh, I was thrilled with that. In fantastic condition. Love that shell. Now the water super clear, but because we're on the Atlantic, it's not really lapping. We're talking some waves. However, the tide is going out, so I'm really kind of hoping in a couple hours or so I'm going to be able to kind of get in the water and maybe do some shelling in there. But for now, I'm sticking to the beach. Oh, now this is something I do find over here. Here's a little turkey wing, just a wee little guy, great condition. And this is just a tiny giant bittersweet, kind of an oxymoron, but that is a giant bittersweet clam. And another one of those, I'm going to go with leafy. At least that one I can kind of tell. A leafy jewel box. Yay! Another bittersweet. I can't help myself. I tried to control myself, but they're so pretty. They're everywhere, kind of like some of the other ones here. Guys, another Scotch bonnet. Oh, I was just, look at that. All right, color's not like the most brilliant, but it's whole. It has some color. It's not that gray. I am thrilled. So happy. So at this point, I'm thinking, yep, the drive was worth it for sure. So moseying along. All right, at this point, there's not too much shells on the beach, and I'm not quite ready to go in the water because of the tide. So I'm just going to keep on walking and see what I stumble upon. Enjoying the view. All right, here's something I'm familiar with. That's a shark eye. I feel like the ones I'm finding over here are flatter, if that's a thing. The ones over here are a little bit more bulbous, but that we have a moon snail. It's a shark eye. Now, this is a piece of coral I don't typically find. This is rose coral. Very cool. Beautiful. And again, really happy that I'm finding stuff I don't typically find. Although this I do. This I'll find on pretty much on the regular. There's another shark eye. Not perfect. It's still kind of neat. And another. Although this one's a little bit worse for wear. Yeah, he's kind of missing a piece, and it looks like the drill holes just really kind of opened up. I'm not surprised. The surf over here is pounding. Much rougher than what I'm used to over on the southwest coast of Florida. What did I see? What? Yep. Yet another Scotch bonnet. Now, at this point, since I found a couple, I don't know if I'm just like laser beam tracked on these, but so happy. Now, at this point, I'm really kind of thinking it's odd to me because I live on the west coast of Florida, and I've kind of retrained my brain that the sun comes up over the land and sets over the water. And now the sun is over the water the way it used to be in New Jersey. So I'm just kind of thinking about how different things are. And this is a crown conch, a beat up crown conch. I'm very surprised to find them here. I don't think they typically, I'm sure this made its way from a very, very long way away because they don't typically like this type of environment. And look at this guy. Isn't that pretty? Now this is a Pennsylvania lucine. Never found one before, complete with a drill hole, which I actually kind of think is cool. I'm thrilled to add that to my collection. And let's have some beach time. So I'm still up in the sand, not quite in the water. There is another giant bittersweet clam. Color's not terrific, so I'm gonna leave that. Be a little picky. Those guys can get heavy pretty quick. Kind of scanning, see what else I see. All right, another piece of coral, and I don't know what kind. I tried to figure that out. Not something I find over in the southwest coast. If anybody knows, if you wouldn't mind dropping me a comment, that'd be very cool. So just kind of scanning. Another shark eye. Complete with a drill hole. Okay. Oh, and a slipper. All right. A 2 for 1. Not in great shape. I'm going to keep it anyway. An East Coast moon snail. And a turkey wing. That's something else I'm also used to. Although it's got a nice color, but it's got a little bit of a hole. I'll leave that for somebody else. And I pretty much have the beach to myself. I did see 2 other people. They were only walking. The first thing I do when I see somebody else is kind of look at their body language. Are they shelling? Are they just walking? And they were just walking. So I pretty much had the beach to myself. It was fantastic. I was having a good old time. And look at this little guy. Now that is a striped false limpet. So it's not a real limpet, it's a false limpet. But still very cool. I don't get to see those too much over here. So I was happy with that little find. And another turkey wing. But we'll just check them out and leave them. A piece of an oyster. I've been finding some whole ones, so I don't need that. Now, let's see. My first olive I'm picking up, and I know it's beat up, but then I look at the cool pattern. The ones over here don't typically look like that. I thought that was really neat. It's just a piece, but I was still super happy. That is a piece of a lion's paw. Love those shells. That's another kind of a bucket list shell. Very cool find. And look at this. That would have been a monster. That's a big old shark eye. And as I was checking that out, I noticed there were some shells up there. So that's the next place I'm going to check out, but not before I pick up this flat. I believe that is a round-ribbed flat. I know it's not perfect, but still, flats are still, they're hard to come by. So like this, I guess, is what common shells look like over here on the East Coast. That kind of looks like a seraph to me, although I'm not really convinced that's what that is. If you do know, please leave a comment below. Again, hold on, because I probably have another shell or two that I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay, another one of those giant bittersweets. And I believe that's also a thorny oyster. I believe. Scanning. What I see? Another olive. Okay, the markings are still a little bit different than I find over here. Kind of neat. None of the olives I found over here are shiny and pointy. Not one. And I'm not surprised. That's another shark eye. A flat shark eye. So I was having a good old time. All right. right, I couldn't help it. He was kind of big. Of course, intact, bunch of shells jammed in there. Another giant bittersweet clam. Okay, cool. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That is one of those thorny oysters. It's actually an Atlantic thorny oyster. Very cool. And at this point, I definitely think it was worth the drive over here. Here we have another shark eye. Okay, now, I don't know. Ribbed Cantharus, no, tinted Cantharus, maybe rock snap, I can't tell. I don't know. If you do, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a comment. And this is just a piece, but I was still kind of excited to actually hold one in my hand. It's a hawkwing conch. Never found one. I'm hoping to get down to the Keys and go hunting for those one of these days. Hello, Olive. He's a little bit beat up. I know, I can't resist at least picking it up, checking him out. All right, what else do we see? Another piece of a lion's paw. Just a piece, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. Another olive, complete with like rocks jammed in there, and it's not shiny, but it's so big. I'm gonna keep it anyway. Another giant bittersweet. Oh, he's got nice color. It's not perfect, but that's okay. And that I was really hoping, and it's just a piece. That would have been a massive shark eye. Look at that. That's another big old thorny oyster. I'm doing fantastic with those. I never find them where I typically go shelling, so really happy to have found all the ones I'm finding today. Look, intact lion's paw. Not the best shape I've ever seen. That's okay. I'm going to try to clean that guy up. So that is an intact lion's paw. Super happy with that. Another giant bittersweet. It was giant. I figured I'd pick it up, but it's not, you know, it's kind of round around the edges and they're heavy, so I'm not going to hold on to that. So that is proof the tide is definitely going out. I've walked pretty far up the beach at this point, and I'm just kind of waiting for the tide to go out so I can get in that water. Hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for me. And meanwhile, I'm just checking out everything I'm finding up on the beach. And I want to kind of give you a preview. I'm kind of practicing at this point. So you can see through the water. And I managed to scoop something. The only reason I saw it is because it was this glowing orange color. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of trying to determine like the rhythm of the water. So you can see, but you're going to have to be kind of standing at the right place at the right time because the shells are moving, the water's moving. So you can pick things out of the water. It's just, like I said, there's going to be a whole lot of luck involved. Not so much skill. And I'm kind of checking just to make sure there's nothing big in the water. And I do think I see something. So I put everything down and I get in the water and look what I found. Another piece of a queen helmet. I was happy that I found something, bummed that it was broken, but it was worth it just to at least find out what that was. Okay, at this point, I'm feeling relatively confident the tide has gone out enough for me to really kind of do some shelling up closer at the entrance of the beach where I actually got on. Here, where you see all this rock exposed, the shells are not in the surf. I suspect that they're kind of being either held back by these rocks because they're not bouncing around here. I did check, but there's not much shelling to be done here at this point. So I'm just going to keep moving until I find something to check out. Yeah, I couldn't help it. That's a spectral bittersweet on the bottom and one of those giant bittersweets on top. Figured while I'm here, might as well pick up a few. Oh, the color on that is fantastic. Another thorny oyster. Thorny oyster. Oh, really pretty. Super happy. And another piece of a lion's paw. It was a bummer to find the pieces. I'm like, I know they're here, but it was not to be. I do have one whole one. I am not complaining. I'm going to hold on to that piece anyway. And then a couple of couple of ones I managed to scoop out of the water. Not in great shape, so it is possible to get them, but not very easy. This guy was huge, so I managed to grab that. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm maybe a big old thorny oyster, but I don't think so. I don't know. If you do, please leave me a comment. Now that one is another one of those brick red thorny oysters. Terrific. And 2 mossy arcs. These are the turkey wing imposters. So apparently they are over here as well. And another lettered olive. Now that looks a lot more like the coloring I'm used to. Kind of big deliberate W's and M's, and yeah, I'm going to need a lot more than a dental pick to get that stuff out of there. These guys over here are much bigger. And now the surf is kind of doing what I was hoping. Maybe a seraph, definitely 2 olives. But not shiny, not pointy. But that, like I said, that's the water I was kind of waiting for to kind of see what I was going to find. Okay. Another little moon snail. And another. And another olive. I want to just take a peek at the coloring. I know it's definitely not, does not have that glossy finish to it. Ugh. And that's another one of those mystery shells. Again, maybe a rock snail, maybe. Another olive. Hello, Mr. Olive. All right. That's pretty typical of the coloring I'm used to finding. Another piece of a thorny oyster. I found tons of them today, which is great. I don't find them typically, so very happy. Happy to see shells, happy to see something different. Yep, and is it that same mystery shell I'm picking up? Is it a different mystery shell? I couldn't figure that out. Now look at that. Now, I think that's a thorny oyster. I know it's kind of bulbous like that other one was, I think. This one was in great shape. This is another shark eye moon snail. Nice size. It's not beat up. There's no drill hole. I think once these guys reach a certain size and thickness, they're a little bit more protected. And I saw this purple flash in the water. Guys, that is an Atlantic deer cowrie. It's just a piece, but I've never found a cowrie. I found a trivia once that looks a little bit like a cowrie. However, that is a piece of an Atlantic deer cowrie. Beautiful purple on the inside. And another thorny oyster. I am not disappointed with those. I know that's not perfect, but color's real cool. I'm going to try to clean it up. I'm wondering if bleach acid, I'm going to try. And yet another. I don't need to clean that one up. Another thorny oyster. And another spectral bittersweet. So I figured, when I was kind of wrapping up and I was going to get off the beach, I would take the time to go ahead and pick up a bunch of these. I wasn't going to bore you guys to death with picking up bittersweet after bittersweet after bittersweet. So that was a little collage of them, and another piece of a lion paw. Now this was cool because at first I thought it was a horse conch, but no, that's a chestnut lattice. How cool is that? I have never found one. Nice find, and probably because of the color. That's really a giveaway on that guy. Beautiful shell. And then it just occurred to me that this is a little bit more what I was used to when I grew up in New Jersey, is you'd find these clams with those holes drilled in them. And of course, at this point, I know that something ate that. Something drilled a hole in there and ate it. I always wondered, like, how come there's shells that are meant to be hung on necklaces just laying all over the beach? And now I know. Now, something I do want to mention, if you do happen to come over here, I just want you to let you know the sand is really, really, really soft. And so there's a lot of sinking. It is not hard packed. And so it's really challenging to walk in the sand here on the southwest coast. That sand is a lot more packed and it's a lot easier to walk. But over here, not so much. So the difficulty shelling over here, it's pretty high because first of all, you got to walk all the way over to the beach unless the tram is running. And then once you get to the beach, it's really, really soft. So I got my exercise in for the day and it was totally worth it. These are all the cool things I found. All those thorny oysters, beautiful colors. I thought those were fantastic. A couple of those giant bittersweets, including that little guy, and that arc and some coral. And I did keep most of the shark eyes that I found. And that little baby turkey wing. And what else? I'll get to the bittersweets in a minute. I kept a couple olives, not all of them, just a couple. And then my favorites are these guys, the lion's paw, that leafy jewel box. Oh, and the Scotch bonnets. I was psyched. And the piece of cowrie. I know it's just a piece, but I was still really excited to find just a piece. And then all of those spectral bittersweets. They look like candy. They're just so pretty. Now, I drove 6 hours total to get all these shells, and frankly, I think it was worth it. I love those Scotch bonnets. I had a great time. It was wonderful to see a new beach. Thank you so much for coming with me. A special shout out to my Patreons who, again, literally support me when I go out and I do these kind of adventures. So thanks for coming along. If you have any idea what any of those mystery shells are, just leave me a comment below. Go ahead and debate it. I'd like to really kind of learn what all these things that I'm finding are. I don't know what we're doing next week. I don't have anything planned yet. I have a couple things up my sleeve, but I promise I'll make it fun. So you guys have a great week. Thank you for being awesome, and I'll see you again next Sunday.